All right, let's see if we can figure this out together. And it's going to be guesses. Unless you have some real inside knowledge that you can leave in the comment section, we're all going to be regulated to guesses. So let's start the conversation. What does Francis Ngannou want? Don't think you're going to be the smart guy in the room that followed the press conferences and watched Francis and Megan talk and follows Francis's manager on social media and then heard what Dana said and recap it for me. I can do that. What does Francis really want? Just like we talked about with Joe Rogan, I don't want to hear that people are mad at him because of his stance on COVID-19. That's not why they're mad at him. That's what they're using. I want to know what Francis really wants. So don't tell me he really wants to box. Francis can box today, just to put an end to that argument, today. The Olympic Games finished 1 year ago. There was a process, and Francis could have gone and represented his country or attempted to if he wanted. He can box today. Does Francis want to go on and be a movie star? I don't know. Does Francis want to go on and be a coach and a trainer? Does he want to be a martyr? I'm asking the questions. All the martyrs end up the same way, which is dead. So even if you want to do that with your career, I'm asking, what does he really want? And I've seen this from day one, and so have you guys. And in all fairness, not only have we seen it, most of us have probably even done it at one point where we did not want to go do something. So now it's about saving face. I need to find an excuse to not do it that my peers will accept. And I really hit the home run if I find one that my peers accept, which stop me from doing something, and I can come out looking good. Very hard in life to chicken out from anything and not look like a chicken, but instead actually look with bravado. So what is it? Guys used to do this, and it's a very old move. But guys used to do this back in the Pride days. I could name 3 or 4 of them for you. Right off the top of my head, quasi-friends of mine. But they would do what's called pricing themselves out. I will fight Rickson Gracie for $1 million. When the highest pay at that time that had ever been given was 1/10 of that. By example, you probably know the guys that have done that. My buddy Joel, you guys remember Joel? Wanted to fight and was actively pursuing a fight with Kimbo Slice, rest his soul. But he was going to need $5 million to do it. Now, you know guys like that. They mean it. No, I really will. I will fight Mike Tyson for $10 million. Like, they really mean it. But what they're really saying, I don't want to do it. I will. I could be talked to. I don't want to do it. How do I get out of this? And that's just people in conversation. So now imagine somebody that's no longer in conversation. They're in the spotlight and they have the actual offer. Do you see how much tougher it gets? How much tougher it gets to get out of something? All of us know a guy that said that, by the way. Literally that statement. I would fight Mike Tyson for $10 million. We all know somebody who has said that. Why would the guy say that? Nobody was going to offer him Mike Tyson. He could have said, I'll walk outside and fight Mike Tyson for free. He has just as much chance of actually fighting Mike Tyson to do it for free as he did for the $10 million. And he could have looked cool for the boys around the water cooler. But he didn't say it. He said for $10 million. And he meant it. Like a genie was going to pop out of a bottle, or Bob Aaron was going to come to him and with Don King on his side and try to sign the guy. Like, he was being serious. Here's my number. Here's what I'll do. Which is code talk for I don't want to do it. We all get that. We get that, but we don't generally see it at this level. And when we do see it in this sport, we can spot it instantly. You now have a guy who is in a fantastic position. Francis looks the way I've always wanted to look, and he's accomplished what I always wanted to accomplish. I mean, I don't have any way around. I got to look up to this guy. I have to. It's the laws of the land. This guy's done it, so he's in a very unique position. Do anything to get a world title fight. He is guaranteed one because he's bringing the damn championship with him. He is guaranteed a world title fight. He is guaranteed a main event. He is guaranteed to be on pay-per-view. He is guaranteed to be in an arena of 10 to 14,000 screaming people. I mean, this is a fantastic spot, and there's something he doesn't want to do it. And pressure's a son of a bitch, guys. A lot of people don't want to succeed. It's subconscious for most of them, but they do not want success because of the pressures that come along with it. And when I'm asking you to hedge your bets and take a guess, what is this really about? We don't know. But if there's any reason to not go fight, we now know I don't want to fight. The question becomes, well, how did we get there with a guy whose whole life has been such a struggle and he did so well? He overcame so much. And forget about his life stories. 3 weeks ago, he's down 2-0 and he came back. This is a guy that shows all the signs, and not only does he want to do it, he's damn good at doing it. So what's this really about? And please don't tell me boxing. I just ask you not to tell me that, only because you're going to be jammed up in the example that I just gave, which is he could have boxed. He could box today. Now, the Olympics were a year ago, but the World Championships are still coming up. He can enter that process and go. Dana will not interfere. Can't. It's a federal law. You cannot interfere with an athlete's pursuit to Olympic sport. Boxing is Olympic sport. Now, you're going to push back. Chael, come on, that's silly. He doesn't want to go box for free. He wants to go fight Tyson for $100 million. Okay, great. I'm just asking that you don't tell me boxing. Now you've told me something different. It's about money. That gets met in the face with the argument of martyr status. Somebody who's willing to be a martyr is putting principles in front of everything else. But now you've just told me, after I succeeded in proving it's not about boxing, you've now told me it's about money. It can't be about money and principles. Those are counter to each other. So what is this about? What's it about? A chance to be a world champion in boxing? Look, it's got the same process, guys. The number one question that I ever get asked, how do you get in the UFC? I get asked that all the time. And there's not a competitive architecture in place, right? If you were to ask me how to win the Super Bowl, I could tell you very simply. I could tell you what you would need to cover the clearinghouse for college status. I would need to tell you how far you have to be within your degree to enter the draft. I could then explain the playoff process to you, and whether if I had to start at the very beginning, explain 4 quarters, bracketed event known as the playoffs, more points than the other guys when time runs out, you move to the next. I could explain very easily how you win a Super Bowl. When you ask me about the UFC, because there's not a competitive architecture, I can still answer the question the same as everybody else can, which is go out and get some fights. Start with your amateur career. Back up from that. Go join a gym. Back up from that. Go buy the equipment, your gloves and your mouthpiece. I mean, there's things that you can do. Get your name out there. Build your social media. I mean, I could go through it and I would be right. But if you were to do all of them, you are not guaranteed to be within the UFC. I can guarantee you how you win a Super Bowl. So it's a very different and unique sport. It's very, very different what it takes. In the world of boxing, if that's what you want to do, if that, man, it's box or bust. Well, I don't want to do the Olympics. Okay, the biggest and most respected boxing event in the world is above you, but you want us to think that you want, well, I don't want to do that. I want to box this guy. Okay, so you just want to fight Tyson Fury. Or whoever it is. I'm very open here, guys. I'm not passing judgment. But you now can't tell me it's about boxing when he's legally cleared to go box. He was legally cleared to attempt the Olympic Games, which every boxer will tell you is the number one event they respect the most because it has a competitive architecture. Is it just about who's most popular like the pros are? So, okay, we've established it's about money, period. How much? That answer can't just be more. How are we getting here? Because the people that are meeting you with resistance are willing to walk away from this whole thing will come in very well armed. And it's not well armed with negotiating skills. They will come in very well armed with data. They know exactly what the watch time is. They know all the way down to commercials. They will actually check the ratings of commercials. They have every source that you could do. They will go to Joe Hand and check pre-buys on commercial. They will have an absolute feel. They will check ticket sales at an arena and juxtapose that against other alike events, meaning heavyweight title fights, and see who sold out faster. They have all sorts of data to know what a person's worth. And it's a huge gamble. There could be something more, but I haven't ever seen or been part of a business with greater risk. This is a bet. So you got to be very careful doing it, which is why the champions and only the champions are giving something known as participation due to the night of business without having to buy in. That is generous beyond belief. There's no other company that I'm aware of that works that way. So he's in this very beautiful position. He's in a position unlike anybody other to make more money than anyone else. Even though there's going to be 10 other fights, 21 other athletes all on the same card doing the exact same thing. But they didn't do it in highest placement of the spot. They didn't do it in championship matches. They didn't do it as heavyweight. They didn't do it as champion. So it makes a lot of sense why he's going to make more than everybody else. Is that fair? But that's the word that we were just reflecting on, more. It is more. It's more than everybody else. It's more than you made last time. But the more doesn't cap. It's infinite. The more people you bring in, the more people who care, the bigger the... It seems like a perfect world to me. It seems to make all the sense. It's really not my business. I'm just curious. But we do have to stop this. I don't want to hear that Rogan is being attacked because of COVID-19, and I don't want to hear that Francis isn't going to fight because he wants to buy. Stop doing that. What's this really about? If this is a cash grab to price yourself out of the market because you want to retire and you just don't know how, we can help with that, right? Who does he think he's letting down? Us? Have we been that awful to him? Have we not, as a community, done a good job of coming together and say, you're awesome. You did awesome. You walk away anytime you want. You owe us nothing. Have we not done that? I know plenty of guys in my life who didn't want to get into something like that. I know a guy who I like, who on fight day pulled a fire alarm in a venue to get out. I know another guy who called in a bomb threat to a venue to get out. Fight or flight is very real. And when a guy's had enough, a guy has had enough. But if he finds any reason to say, I don't want to go do something, we need to listen and not pressure him. Encourage him, tell him how well he did, and then step the hell out of the way. Let somebody come through who does want to compete.